I'm Robert Vendetti, professional comic book writer, and I want you to know about the new Bad Idea comic book series, Tankers. As the world well knows, I'm what's called a method writer. That means before I begin a project, I don't just study the material, So to take a deep dive into the subject, I came to the one place on Earth where I can operate mechanized combat equipment, dig for oil, and shoot dinosaurs. Texas tea, baby! I'm down to the tank! No oil yet? Every second of my immersive research experience guarantees that Tankers is unlike anything you've read from me before. I should know. I've read everything I've ever written. Tankers is about a crack team of mercenaries and mech suits who work for Greenleaf Oil. They get sent back in time to divert the comet to kill the dinosaurs. More dinosaurs in the past means more oil in the present. Who doesn't love that? And with a superstar art team providing breathtaking covers and interiors, Tankers is an action-fueled thrill ride of human versus dinosaur warfare that we can't wait for you to read. So go ahead, order Tankers today. I guarantee I'll be glad you did. As for me, I'll be finishing off these dinosaurs. Extinction Day! Extinction Day.
Today's comics market is ripe with new titles by creators who are determined to get their books into your hands. My name is Onrie. For the last decade, I've been making and selling my own creator-owned comics and dealing as a collector in live sales. My signature series, Christie Shinn, is the book that cannot be defeated in battle and has over 250,000 copies in print. Now I'm taking comics to the next level and laying the groundwork for my fellow creators to get their voices heard so they can connect directly with you. This is your chance to engage live with top comic book talent and get your comics signed without having to wait in long lines or pay any fees. But remember, we only have a limited amount of their books in stock, so always remember to call it as you see it. You're watching Virtual Signings with Onrie, the live event show. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another spectacular episode of Virtual Signings with Onrie, the live event show. Today's guest is somebody that I have known for quite some time now. She is an artist from the West Coast, and she is Korean, and we have connected for a multitude of reasons. But she is somebody that I have grown to respect tremendously. She's one of the hardest working artists I know. You can catch her on her own show on the Artist Alley Shopping Network, and she will tell us all the details about that. And she's got a great graphic novel series. She's an incredible artist, very outspoken. I know that a lot of people out there can appreciate that, especially these days. So without further ado, it is my pleasure to welcome Christie Shinn to Virtual Signings with Onrie. Christie, look at you. You look absolutely radiant this afternoon.
Well, thank you. It's amazing what a shower can do. That's what I did today earlier too.
I did not shower today.
Oh.
I decided to. I gave myself what they call a Polish shower, where I just took deodorant and just sprayed myself. But hey, at least I don't stink, right? How are you doing?
We don't do anything half-assed. That's what we don't do.
So, Christie, how you doing? Tell us who you are, what you do. Give us all the details.
Well, I'm doing great. Number one, first of all, thank you very much. Secondly, things are going good. Things are opening up. Things are happening. So I'm very happy with that on my end, both personal and professional. What I do is that I'm a comic book artist and I do graphic design, but now I'm starting to be an artist. I actually currently have an exhibition. I'm one of the featured artists on Line Attack 10 in the Hype Gallery and Studios in downtown LA. So that's going to actually start tomorrow. So I'll be there. So you may want to go, and if you're local to LA, visit the Hive at gmail.com to get an appointment. But what I do is that I draw comics. I draw a comic as Demon Bitch. It's basically, I think I kind of followed the Matt Grading route. Like when he moved to LA, he did Life in Hell. This is Demon Bitch right here. And it's based off all the girls I hated. And people are like, all the girls you hated, why? And I was like, they were awful. So I made fun of them. And she...
And I have had an opportunity to not only pick up Demon Bitch from you at LA Comic Con which is the last time we actually saw each other in person. And then we had all this stuff happen with conventions getting canceled as a result of COVID. And honestly, you were one of the pillars for me to kind of like, keep myself rooted in the fact that eventually comic conventions would come back. And I'm also doing a show tomorrow out in Rockford. You got a thing going. But here's the thing that I respect most about you, Christine. During this lull period when, we didn't have shows and everybody was bummed out, the one I have to say that I respected so much about you was that you didn't just sit there and take it. You decided to do something about it, and you were working, and you showed such initiative that it honestly inspired me. At one point, I'm like, I woke up and I'm like, why am I not doing what Christie's doing? You were one of the people that I was looking to for inspiration to get back in the saddle and to say, you know what? I am a showman. I need to be here. I need to be the tiny guy on the screen, and we need to blow you up. So tell us a little bit about your, what you've been through, your mentality, and how you just can't give up.
Well, as my path through an artist and growing up, I actually had a pretty good childhood, but, there were some things that, we would always like to have done better about certain things with parents and stuff. And, throughout the first early phase of my career, I would say probably around college and all that, like I had this either thing where I was told that, oh, you're so talented, but nobody wants your shit. And then I know many artists can go and relate to this. And then there's other times where people just say, oh, well, your shit sucks. And they throw all sorts of crap at you and you're just like, all right, whatever. But I guess in that thing, like there are times I would wake up and I'd be very depressed and I'd be like, what the fuck purpose of my life? Like, this is what I feel like I have to do, but I always get my ass kicked all the time. So you get to a point where you're just like, I kind of don't care. It's not that you don't care about priorities, like paying bills and shit. You do it, but it's just something in you have to do it because you have to. Like, there's just something that keeps you going. It's sort of like what seems to be a curse keeps you going because it's the only thing that keeps you sane. And we have in a lot, you and I, in our industry, even though there's people that do stuff that they absolutely love, there's a few people that just wigged out pretty much. Like COVID just, let's be very frank, a lot of people wigged out with COVID. And I'm not crapping on anybody because, some people did suffer tremendous losses, both personally and financially. I am not being insensitive to that at all, but some people just really just lost tenterhooks of what they had. I viewed this as a time where, and I'm not going to say that I went through all rosy and wonderful things. And I was like, I love everybody.
I can stand for you and say that I know that this is true because you and I have talked about that. Dan Stockwell, thanks for joining us. Keep going, Christy.
Oh, yeah, no, that's fine. So what if that is that, so what I did with any little thing, hey, Dan, how's it going? Is essentially you just take stock each day if you can. And sometimes when we're programmed to go fully into, oh, let's go high powered and stuff. And then now it's like almost to a complete stop or halt where, okay, the most exciting thing out of my day is I went grocery shopping and that, or I shop some stuff on Amazon, stuff that we would do that we wish we had leisure time. Now we've got it. So what I realized is that I had to be thankful about some things in my life that, can you purchase the book? Of course you can purchase the book. I've got a store link and everything, and I provided that. Or, but yeah,
what we can do right now, Dan, just you can call it right now on the show, and then you can message Christy on Facebook with your email information, and she'll email you and take care of it. Is that okay, Christy?
Oh yeah, that's fine. That's totally okay. Yeah. Let me also give out my email too, just in case, because I wasn't sure. Because usually, I apologize in advance. I should have asked, but usually I give the host my email. I mean, I give the host my store link and my website, and they usually pop it up.
If you want to call it right now, Dan, you can call it right now. Christie, can you sign a book for him? All right, he's calling it. Can you sign a book? And everybody who's watching the show right now,
which book do you want?
Go ahead, show them. Give us all the details on what we got here.
Okay, so this one is 30, and this is Demon Bitch Alcoholics and Anonymous. This is 90 pages of bullcrap. There you go. This one, these two are 20 a piece, and it's about 70 pages, and it's just graphic novels of Demon Bitch, and I'm happy to sign all of them.
Beautiful. And Dan, just let us know what you want. So we got $30 on the first one that you showed, and then 20 on the rest.
Yeah, 20 each.
20 each. Okay, excellent. And here's the thing: I've read Demon Bitch, and I absolutely love Christie's approach to everything she's done with her strips. It gets raunchy. It's excellent. It's hilarious, and you won't be able to put this book down. And you're going to be laughing the entire time, and you're going to be able to relate to a lot of people that you see that have similar traits to what Demon Bitch brings out in people. And this is one of those books that I highly encourage anybody who's looking for a good laugh to pick up. It's very hard when you're reading comics to actually read it and laugh. Sometimes I just kind of, I get a wince like, but it's very rare that I actually laugh really hard. Dan's calling the $30 one. Boom shakalaka! This is what it's all about. Virtual signings with Onrie. We are hooking it up for creators.
Crappy lipstick in there. I might have to reapply it because it's kind of crappy lipstick. All right, to Dan.
So everybody who is purchasing with us today, please know that Christie's every book that Christie sells is going to Christie 100%. We are not doing any kind of cuts here. This is all going to the creator so that she can continue to build her business and put out more books. And we're all about that. We want to support creators. So it's one of the special episodes where if you pick it up right now, you are 100% supporting the creator. So Dan, do us a favor. Don't just like this post, share this post. Let everybody know it's out there, and get people to follow Christie if you can. We really appreciate your support and your patronage right now.
Here you go, Dan. I might write more rude things in there a little bit later because I like writing around in my own book because it's my own friggin' book.
Yes, absolutely. You're supposed to be able to do that. Excellent. Thank you so much, Christie, and thank you, Dan. This is what makes virtual signings with Onrie so special. So, Christie, you were going on about what you were, what like your mentality and some of the things that you were going through as a result of COVID, and how you kind of managed to realize how grateful you were for the things that you had. And knowing that you and I have had many long conversations. Those conversations that we've had really helped ground me as well, and made me realize the things that I had to be grateful for, which were many things,
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, with COVID, I had to get the unemployment because I live in, they say West Coast, but I live in California. So that's a pretty, as your state, it was severely shut down. So we could barely do anything. So, I mean, it wasn't as bad as Michigan, but from what I've heard, but it was shut down. So we could not do much. So I said, okay, well, and also I had a life-changing surgery the year prior to that in 2019 where they found a pancreatic tumor. Oh, and by the way, you'll get a picture of the tumor, Dan. Let me show you. That's the picture of the tumor right there, all in green. My pancreas had a tumor. I do not have cancer. I am cancer-free, but it would have been 110% cancerous if they left that in. So they had to take it out, rewired my whole digestive system. So that gave me an opportunity to say, okay, well, I'm not starving. I can pay my bills and I can recover fully. Now, looking back, the doctors cleared me to do cons last year before all this hit, but I felt kind of tired and run down. So it gave me time to relax and rest and everything. And it felt a lot better. And I felt more together on that. Also, I'm very happy and glad that my family has remained very healthy throughout this whole entire thing. Like, we have not lost too many things. We have not lost people, as far as I know. At least our immediate family. Like, my parents are doing great. They're elderly. They're perfectly healthy, thank God. My sister and her family doing great. I had my small circle of friends that I could sit and visit and rely on, and we just hang out and do the thing. So, I mean, it's just little things at a time. Like, oh, I cooked this nice little meal today. And it's not like I was happy all the time. There were certain things I was really mad about that didn't happen, other than cons. But, you deal with it the best you can. It's every day. You have to deal with it. And I think what kind of helped is that because I had that tumor, I kind of knew what it was like to almost die. So, or kind of know like what it's like to have mortality. So it didn't hit me psychologically as hard as it did some people. Other people, it really hit them hard. And, again, barring personal circumstances, that's it. So all in all, like, it just made me take stock and not over stress on what I couldn't do, but try to focus on what I could do.
Yeah, and you did a lot. And what did you do? You started doing these lunch hour shows, and you really made a name for yourself in terms of your Facebook presence, social media presence. Mm-hmm. So what inspired that? Because I don't think I ever asked you, like, I mean, I started naturally. I fell into my interview show Live with Onrie, and I felt like the key component that was missing there was what you just saw happen with Dan, was an opportunity for you to actually sell your book and making that a priority for the show, not just like me picking your brain, but also like, hey, you can actually support these creators right here and right now. Don't be shy. Buy their books. But you started to turn to other things. So what got you into that? How did you fall into it?
Well, I was kind of like thinking to myself, maybe I'll do something to fill up my day. I thought maybe something Monday through Friday, fill up my day there. Oh yeah, Dan, that's totally fine. Purchase it later by all means. I mean, you're welcome to do that. I'm just glad that you wanted to get something today. But yeah, no, I offer also pens and other things. But what I did in going back to my process, what I did is that for lunch hour, I just kind of started drawing. And it was around the time I was planning a Kickstarter, and I had failed my first one. And I said, well, let me do the Kickstarter. So I started just broadcasting, like, oh, I'm just doing a live. Then I learned how to go and cross-platform broadcast and all this other fun stuff. So it was like a lot of things that I had to do to get that going. So, it just kind of evolved, and how my format, I would just test out certain formats during the video and all this other stuff. And I just, it was just trial and error. More people seemed to respond to this. Some people didn't respond to it that much, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, that's how it is.
That's pretty crazy, because we've all had to kind of become showmen, and throughout this process, like of dealing with COVID, in order to basically engage people and keep them tuned into what we're doing. So tell me like what you're doing on your show. I mean, you're obviously drawing on there, but like, what are some of the things that we can expect to find on your show? And when does it air and all that other great stuff?
Well, it airs on Monday through Friday. I take Wednesdays off because now I'm doing AASN, and I find that taking a day off recharges me the best for those days. It's just that every day it's weird because you're saying, oh, well, I'm in front of a camera. I can't, it's not that, bad, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, come on, sometimes after a while, like I thought maybe I'm bad or weird, like not broadcasting every day, but it really does take energy because you got to put it out there. But what people choose to expect with my drawings, or what they want to expect, is like, I'll draw, but I'll just start talking with them, or I'll start making jokes or coming up with concepts. I'll do it on air. Sometimes I won't have a concept. It's just a slice in the life of an actual artist that does things. And it's just to show people that, the magic that we do, there are some very real, like, we're just human beings anyway. That's it.
Yeah, this is true. And, another thing to add to that is that not only are we human beings, but I really love your slice of life approach of, you coming out there and being real. And I remember you were telling me that there were some episodes where you got very emotional. And, the one thing I have to say I respect the most is how centered you keep yourself throughout the show, because particularly last year, everybody had a lot of thoughts going on in their heads. Everybody was being overly expressive, particularly when it came to political issues, which we're not going to jump into here. But,
Yeah.
you and I have discussed it, and how vicious things got. And you managed to keep yourself centered throughout everything. And not only did you keep yourself centered, you're continuously building. I think you have grown so much as a result of what's happened. And it's so like inspiring to me, because I also feel like I've grown too, but it was from watching, artists like you look at what you had and really push it to the next level. Mm-hmm. Instead of looking at what your limitations were, you started to look at what you could do next. And another thing that I have to say too, that really that I remember was, you were like, I just survived this horrible surgery that should have like put me down or could have put me down, and yet you didn't have this attitude of like, what did all right, like stuff sucks now. I'm going to be in fear. I'm going to live my life in fear. No, you got back up there and you're like, this wasn't for nothing. I survived this for a reason, and I'm going to push forward.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
No. I just say yeah.
Yeah. You like the compliments. You want to make if you want to make Christie smile, give her some compliments. Put appropriate compliments, of course. But
thank you.
Yes. So now that you're going back into the convention spotlight, or even the shows, whatever, you got this gallery you're doing, what are some of the things that you're taking from what you've experienced and over the last year, and how is that helping you to further grow your business now?
Well, it's kind of interesting of how much more clear-minded I am. It's kind of weird because after the tumor was taken out, my body shape changed. I'd like dropped almost 50 pounds. And it wasn't like I was eating horribly or anything to myself. It just was more of like my metabolism slowed all the way down. My hormones were off. They weren't as off like, oh, I missed cycles or whatever. But I realized that I wasn't as much pain as I used to be anymore. Now, I want to remind people, like, sometimes I've had friends that had like a mass taken out of their ankle. One of my friends had that happen. And he had that thing for 10 years. It wasn't cancerous, but it needed to be removed because it was putting pressure on his ankle. But we were sitting, he's like, wow, I'm really like, he had gotten much more friendlier and affectionate. He was never a jerk. That's the thing. He was never a jerk, but you could tell like that weight had gotten lifted off. And people have commented that to me because the tumor that I had that was pancreatic, it slowed me down. And I think the whole time, and from what I heard of the doctors, it was a very, 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 very slow moving tumor, so it wasn't like normal pancreatic tumors where like they metastasize into cancer and you're screwed, right? Really fast. This was a slow growing one, and it would eventually break off, but that was going to happen 100% at some time. So having that taken out of my system, it lightened the load of my system. Now it didn't seem that apparent at that moment because, you're recovering, they rearrange your guts, right? But as this time, and even still, I marvel at how much, like, it's weird. I have to watch my weight, and I know people kind of like, oh, well, you're counting. No, it's just that now I'm more conscious about my weight, not in necessarily a vanity sense, but more of, okay, my body is either in and out of balance. And even though if it's a few pounds, it gives me, okay, so it's trending towards this. I should probably change this or adjust that. And it's not like a worrisome thing. It just makes me pay more attention. Also, it's like I'm much more clear-headed. I think essentially my body fighting against this thing to maintain it, and I was never rageful or mean to people, but people could tell I had this edge where I was just like so angry that I was so angry and mean. I felt mean, but I wasn't a mean person. You've known me before the tumor, but I think you can see that, most people were like going, hey, what's up, Kevin? So most people could tell a difference, like, oh, wow, you're more mellow, you're more calmer and stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting because, I went through a pretty dramatic lifestyle change in the last 2 years, and dropped over 60 pounds for the same reasons that, you're maintaining a healthier lifestyle. I have adapted that same philosophy because, as we get older, things change in our bodies and we're not as able to recuperate. But another thing that changes too is our need to, eat large meals. Like when we're younger, like our metabolisms are constantly like, working really, really at a different pace than they are as we get older. And you make these changes not for cosmetic appeal, though, you obviously want to look. You want to look attractive. It's how you make better money. It's like you want to buy from someone who's attractive as opposed to someone who isn't. But and of course, I don't think being overweight has anything to do with attraction. I know some very, very beautiful people who are more heavy set, but there's this sense of can't necessarily do, like, me in particular, I'm usually on my feet when I'm at conventions. And if I have to carry around an extra 50 or 60 pounds, that can really do some damage. I had gout, I had gout flare-ups, not necessarily just from diet, but just simply from the fact that gout can also come from putting a lot of strain on the tendons in your feet, and all kinds of stuff. So, here's a question for you. This is all leading into that, to what you were saying earlier. We all get to these points where, life has the stressors. And I've eaten at restaurants with you before, and you not only have very good taste in food, but you eat very healthy, and you make very wise decisions as you're eating, which is not always easy to do. Particularly when we're on the road and things like that are happening. But you take a lot of priority in taking care of yourself because of what you've been through and because of everything that's going on. So how do you keep yourself motivated on those days when you're like, I just had a crappy day. I just want to bust open a bag of Doritos, eat the whole thing, lay naked in my underwear, and just like drink a bottle of whiskey. Like, how do you keep yourself sort of motivated in order to stay sharp in those dark moments?
I think sometimes you should allow yourself a dark moment or two. When it gets to, like, if you go start cutting yourself or anything like that, no. But there are times like, all right, I want to eat a bag of Doritos. It's like, okay, once in a while is fine. I don't think that's bad. And there's that. And it's kind of like, people say, well, if I divulge and if I emotionally eat one thing, I'm horrible. It's like, okay, if you're an emotional eater, recognize that. And if you want to eat because I'm not an emotional eater, number one. So that kind of helps. Actually, when I get stressed and really emotionally upset, I don't actually eat. It's kind of like Audrey Hepburn. She actually went through very stressful periods. Like, nobody knew that she was part of the Dutch or French resistance during World War II. And there were long periods where she didn't eat. So whenever she would get stressed out, even after all that, she wouldn't eat. Now, I didn't have that growing up, but for me, when I would get stressed, I would lose my appetite. I would not want to eat at all.
Yeah. There are times when I feel the same way. It's like, all right, I'm stressed out. I don't really want to know. I just want to kind of deal with whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
It slows down and, all kinds of stuff. I know what you mean.
Yeah. It's just you listen to your body. Like, today I went and bought a bunch of snacks because I felt like having salty snacks lying around. I'm not usually that person to do that. By the way, Kevin, thank you very much for that comment. Yeah. It's just, I listen to my body, but I also pay attention to how my body responds, because for a while digestion was very hard and that sucked. And that was very frustrating sometimes because it's not a really beautiful thing to observe, let's say. But I've gotten it down with some adjustments. And, oh yeah, you have to force them to eat sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes you just got to. Obviously, if you haven't eaten anything for 1 or 2 days, you might want to snack on something. But
Yes,
I've always made.
you have never had to force me to eat ever, Mr. Hines.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's just like for me, I wanted to. It's just that I think it's okay to let yourself cheat once in a while. It's fine. Like if you're upset and you had a hard day and you want a piece of chocolate cake, have a piece of chocolate cake. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
And if you want to treat yourself to Demon Bitch right now, all you got to do is call it as Lux right now, and you get it signed on the air by Christie, who's giving some wonderful advice right now. And okay, so when you have your cheat day, what is like the one thing you have to eat? Like, what do you usually?
See, the thing is that I never see my days as cheat days. Like for me, it's just like, oh, I'll feel like eating this. I feel like eating that, But usually my tastes, like they run from like a complete meal. Like I'll have some rice or seaweed and meat. There are times I've eaten pasta. And you'll call some demon.
Yeah, Kevin's calling Demon Bitch. Show him the covers he can get.
Okay, so we've got this one. This is Demon Bitch Alcoholics and Anonymous Seas. $30 for this one because it's a bigger book. I also actually have some things on sale too because it was. And then this is $20 right here, and this is $20 as well. And I'll sign all those books.
You have in your right hand. That's the one we actually have in stock right now. That one is
this one.
Yes, this one is personalized to me.
Okay.
I have this one. I have this book.
Yeah. So he can attest to that one. And then I did She Sucks. There you go, right there. And then also, actually, I want to showcase some pins that I do too for Demon Bitch.
Absolutely, please do.
And I know, and I have to show you one that I did during the pandemic. And also, these are available on my website. I know some people have asked like how to order them and all that, and I'll be happy to send you the link personally as well. I just wasn't really sure how this worked out, but on here because it's slightly different, but I will do it. So what I did for Demon Bitch is these pins right here. There's Demon Bitch, I'm pregnant. And then that was based off a girl that actually lied to her boyfriend that she was pregnant so she could live for free. Demon Bitch stabbed right there. And then Demon Bitch sperm because I got bored. I'll just draw like little stupid things. And then during the pandemic, this is glow in the dark. This is the Plague Doctor Dummy Thick. So if anybody isn't familiar with Dummy Thick, it's essentially putting something with big tits and a big butt on it, and it's dummy thick. Like, so it's just ridiculous. So I did Cove Thick 19, and she's got glitter right there. And then I have the Personal Monsters pins from another book that I've got right there with Anxiety Owl right there. That's a popular one right there. And then my favorite, Pancreas Tits, because this was based off my pancreas. Because it had two big 3-inch cysts. It was a 6-inch tumor. So it had two 3-inch cysts. And it looked like boobs. So I drew it on a stripper pole because, me.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think it's so impressive. Mr. Bankston, how are you, sir?
Hi, Mr. Bankston.
Are you familiar with Demon Bitch? If you're not, Christy, can you give us the pitch for Demon Bitch real quick? Because I have a feeling that Mike might like this. I know I've pitched it before on my show, but this is a chance for him to buy it directly from you and support, what's up. So Kevin's calling alcohol all day and sperm and pancreas.
There you go. Pancreas and sperm.
It sounds very much like Kevin.
He wants this one? He wants these two?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll set these two aside for him. Well, I have more, but I'll leave these up here for now so if other people want to look at them. So what it is a Demon Bitch is a low-level demon from the 13th pit of hell where people throw their dog crap and gum wrappers. She wants to bring the second coming of Armageddon to Earth, but the first one never happened, but she's stupid anyway. So she never got the memo. And when she comes up there, she wants to raise Hell's army, but she gets easily distracted by hard drugs and promiscuous sex. So essentially she's an idiot. So it's her and her crew, and they do dumb, stupid things all day long. You need to check out the pins on their website. Yeah, you can get them on the website too. Thank you, Michael.
You can call them right now, Mr. Libby.
Yeah, I've got multiples. Like I don't have ones of each. I just have these as samples as well.
Yeah. So you can go to the website, or you can come. You know what would be really great, Christy? You dropped your link here. I'm going to drop it in the comments right now, and anyone who wants to in the future add it. And actually, I don't know who my producer for today is. I think it might be or Jerry, one of the two. If you guys could drop the link that Christy put in the chat, that would be great, just so we can direct everybody. But everybody who's watching right now is either associated with Hunter Killer Collectibles, Kevin Hines, or is shopping with us on a consistent basis. And you guys just let me know, and I will message you guys Christy's website, and you can support her. And she's also on the Artist Alley Shopping Network. And she's got her own show as well on her own channel, and she's just freaking awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I do that. I have other books that I sell, like Personal Monsters. That's like kind of like my life in hell, like of Matt Groening, because I dealt with a lot of really mean, awful people. You guys are freezing up a decent amount. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, the connection, yeah.
But it's like, so when I moved to LA, I had to deal with a bunch of jerks. They're all in this book. It's like the Darwin origin of the species, but for buttholes. I would use the other word, but I'm not allowed to swear here. But I also got.
So the XP has dropped the link, guys. So it is showing up on every single one of our channels that we are, airing right now. So you guys can go and support Christy at any point. Let's get her some orders and let her build her business. Kevin also wants the book too.
Which one?
So Kevin, there was the Alcoholics. Just show him the three covers again.
Okay, let me see if I can balance them right.
So the one all the way to the left of the screen is going for 30, and the other two are going for 20. Call it as you see it. We got you covered. And Kevin is buying he's making a personal purchase right now, and he doesn't normally come on virtual signings to do that. He's doing it because he wants to support you, and he believes in what you're doing, Christy. And you guys have talked before on the phone. When we were in LA. So you guys remember Kevin now.
Yeah. I had a feeling it was him, but I wasn't like sure. But alcohol in the very last one you showed me about the burgers.
So the alcohol in the very last one you showed about the buggers you dealt with when you came out.
Okay. So he wants the Personal Monsters on that. And you're welcome to, I think we're friends on Facebook, Kevin. So just message me and I can go give you the store links for that too. Because that's my main website that you gave that I put out. And there's like a little bar on the top of the website, not the very top, but the like on the top, it says store. Click on that, So definitely, I'll be happy to send those out as soon as the purchase goes through, and I'll totally sign it for you, Kevin. I appreciate it. And if you want to have any other of the pins, I think you wanted this one and this one. Yeah, you can order that all at the same time too. I have them all.
Perfect. Hey guys, just so everybody knows, anybody who's purchasing today, you're not buying through Hunter Killer Collectibles. You are buying directly from the source, Christie Shinn. You are supporting her directly. So make sure you go to her website. Make sure you go through all the process because you are supporting her directly. And this is why we're doing this. So Christy, I want to know what's your first major convention that you're doing this year?
Oh, it's hard to tell at this point. I'm thinking maybe San Diego, but it's kind of weird because they're talking about doing it in November. And it's the weekend before Thanksgiving. But I'm kind of iffy on the Thanksgiving part because, everybody's running around, things like that. Plus, I don't have a lot of detail. Like, I'm tabling over there, and they gave us the option to table next year, which I am probably going to go on, which I'm more likely going to do it. I might go as an attendee. I'm not sure. But right now, as of this month, I don't really have too much of anything. I can announce my Hive gallery events, because I'm a resident artist at the Hive. So I also have a wall on top of being one of the featured artists for tomorrow. But other than that, I can't give you a certainty, which I'm sorry to say, guys. I mean, it's just, I wish I could, but I'm living in a state that's very closed down. So right now, I haven't really looked any out of state as of yet. So it's sort of like looking at my schedule. So in a way, the best way I can do it is my art gallery events, and usually it's visit the Hive, and you can make an appointment. But it would be with the gallery only. But if you wanted to meet up with me, I'd be down for it. Just let me know. And if it's at least the Hive event, that I can talk about certainty. And usually that's usually the first or second Saturday a month. So I try to go to those shows if I'm in them. So I hope that helps. I mean, again, I watch my social media. That's also on my website. So if you follow my social media, I'll make announcements. If you friend me on Facebook, you should be able to see them. Unfortunately, barring the algorithms and everything. But if you want to say, hey, what's Christie doing? And they'll put down like, oh, yeah, I'm advertising this, So, I mean, again, my apologies, at least as of right now, I don't have any exact cons to go to, because personally, I think for insurance reasons, a lot of the California-based cons, they're kind of like saying, well, we're going to do it 2 or 3 months out of here just because. But I think probably there might be some popping up sooner than November. It's just that they kind of want to see how it is, because the amusement parks just opened up here, like about in April, May.
Oh, really? I thought the amusement parks were open since like summer last year.
No, they actually closed them down. What they did was that they opened them up in limited capacity. You could not do rides, and it's very, very much lower numbers. And what it is that let's see what else. There are lower numbers. Like I went to Knott's, but they don't have any of the rides open because of that. But they had food tastings and stuff, so they had alternative things that you could do. So we would go to the food tastings, and then we'd go around and walk around the park, play some of the games, but we couldn't ride on any of the rides. So it depended. I think.
Is Venice Beach open right now?
I think Venice Beach is open. I mean, it's not a. Oh, you mean on the pier, Venice Pier, Santa Monica?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they're kind of open. I would imagine so, but I'd say go look online and see for certain. I hadn't really thought about it, but I think they did, but they didn't really have it open in the amusement park capacity in terms of you go on rides, and there was only so many people that could go in as in everywhere else.
So, what comic book projects you got going on right now, and what's your next Kickstarter? Like, what are you going to be? What's next for you?
Well, I think right now it was weird because usually I'd be running in like 1 or 2 at this point, but my schedule has been really weird because we don't have conventions and stuff, so it's kind of giving me more time to think and kind of feel it out, because this has been an unusual year and a half. And so the normal schedule, like people are writing it, but I haven't done it yet because I haven't gotten the go in my mind as of yet. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to do it. Actually, I am working on a tarot deck that is not Demon Bitch. Demon Bitch actually does have her crappy tarot right here. I can't say the name now.
I backed that. I was behind that.
You backed that.
Yep.
Yeah. So this one right here, this is awesome. So I would say this is what I have right there. This is live. Yeah. Hi, JD Smith. How's it going? So this is live. This is $25, but I just signed the outside. There's a paper sleeve on the deck. It's also available on the store. But it's a Lenormand style. So it's another legitimate fortune telling thing, but it's not the tarot. But I am working on a tarot deck because I kind of feel like, okay, I still do Demon Bitch, but I kind of want to sometimes my mind gets on these thoughts of doing a tarot deck. So far I've gotten 7 cards done. So I'm kind of not giving myself a deadline, but I'm thinking of doing a Kickstarter for them. If I finish them this year, I'm pretty sure I can. And the other one is I have to just get together and make a new book of Demon Bitch, but I just haven't felt it was right at this time for it.
So we got JD Smith in the house right now. He's new. He's just tuning in right now. This is a live broadcast. Can you give him the quick pitch for what you're selling right now with Demon Bitch? Just because we got a new guy in the house, and who knows? Maybe he's gonna pick him up right now.
Hi, JD. How's it going? Well, Demon Bitch is a low-level demon from the 13th pit of hell where people throw their dog crap and gun wrappers. Here's one of them. She's based on the girls I hate, and she wants to bring the second coming of Armageddon, but the first one never happened because she's dumb. So she wants to go and bring a second Hell's army on Earth and just destroy it, but she keeps getting distracted by promiscuous sex and hard drugs. So it's just basically about the stupid girls I've had to deal with in my life. This one is also bigger than the other books, and because it has awful alcohol recipes by my friend Tony himself, who's like an amateur mixologist, and they are something. Like he did the Demon Bitch cocktail, and basically he said that it looks like a cup of semen and smells pungent. And it's an actual recipe. It's not that he threw a bunch of crappy Captain Morgan and all these other things and made it just taste like swill. He actually knows like really good mixologists and bartenders. He's kind of an amateur. It's a hobby for him. And he just, like the Kickstarter prior to that for this book, She Sucks, he kept just giving me recipes. He said, oh, let's do this one. And he recorded himself. So I use that as part of the Kickstarter. The recipes are not in this book, but I said, you know what? I have to put the recipes in the other book. It's like Water for Chocolate, only crappy. And I bet Laura Esquivel hates me. But this is the second volume, and this is the first volume for Demon Bitch.
All right, he's down with Demons in Armageddon, but I draw the line with foul language. Well, yes, Mr. Smith, this is a book that's raunchy. There is a lot of foul language. We're letting you know that right now. There was a Kickstarter that Christie has done multiple Kickstarter campaigns. She had 2 very successful ones last year. Was it 2 or 3?
2.
2. So she had 2 very successful campaigns last year, and she's very hardworking. But yes, this is just to, so you're. And we also got these pins right here.
These commemorated last year. One is the Plague Doctor. She glows in the dark right here, and then this is a glitter one of. It's Cove Thick 19. And then this is Pancreas Tits, because this was after my tumor.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
Let us know if you're interested. We got you covered. That's how we roll here on Virtual Sims with Onrie. So Christie, we're getting to the last 10 minutes of our show here, and you had mentioned before about how your friend was a mixologist, and you yourself. Okay, he likes cuss words. So what?
Okay, I almost took you seriously, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, we never know, right? And Chris, we're both in the field, and I have people all the time who look at Christie Shinn and are like, well, I'm not into nudity and harsh language and blood and violence. And I'm like, well, then you know what? You're probably going to want a different book. But, it happens. But JD, if you scroll up just a little bit, you'll see that the experience has dropped a link to Christie's website. Another thing that's really great about right now is if you call it right now, Christie can sign a book for you. And all you got to do is just send us an email or your email address. And we'll take care of invoicing and.
Oh, I think the internet demons have eaten Onrie's connection. Well, I guess I kind of go talk for a little bit more. Okay, you there?
Oh, there we go. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I just wasn't sure. I didn't want to interrupt you. But yeah, no, I like a cuss word with my chaos. Where's the website? Yeah, just go ahead, scroll up. It's www.horrorstudios.com. I would like to add that if you want to add me as a friend, I can give you the link directly if that's okay with Onrie in this case. Sometimes people do that. And also you're welcome to ask me hey, where's my book? But usually through my website, I do provide a tracking number when you order the book. That's why you put in your email and phone number, because it'll send you the email. And then when I release it, the tracking number will be sent to you.
Yeah. And Christie, I'm totally fine with you doing it. Everything is freezing up. Oh, okay. So Kevin's saying all of his apps are freezing right now. It's not just us. It's everything. Yeah. I think it could be the internet too, but regardless of anything, I think that it's pretty telling. But anyway, we're coming to the last 10 minutes of the show here, and I want to hear from you about some of the things that you're looking forward to as the year unravels, and what kinds of things that you see for yourself in the future.
I would say that I look forward to my art career. It's coming off really nice in the real world as things are opening up. I mean, I had a show with the Hive, and I'm one of the featured artists in the show this month. So that's good. I really like how my artwork is turning out. I know I like how it's evolving to be. So I'm happy about that with right now. It's not that I'm not open to more, but that's just what I can see right at this moment. But otherwise, my mood is pretty good. I have a good group of friends around me. I've got great friends who support me, like Onrie here, Onrie and Kevin here. You guys are wonderful. Uh, I just really like the audience. Like, you guys are great. Some of you are little. I can't say the word here, but I say it with affection. Effers, little effers.
We know what you're thinking of.
Yeah, right. And little effers, and I appreciate that. Like, I'm glad that I get to talk with fans. I'm glad I get to talk with people and audience. It's not about just getting more fans for my self edification. It's just more of like, hey, I'm glad that I have my legion coming. And it's like I'm beginning to use the hashtag We Are Legion just to kind of poke the nose, because, like, well, I mean, I'm pretty sure all of you at some point have read the Bible, and there's this one part where the demons and the possessed man, Jesus asked them, like, who are you? It's like, we are Legion. And then he cast them out in some pigs and stuff. But I don't know. I found that whole story to kind of be epic and funny. And I just kind of wanted my fans saying, like, we are Legion. Like, there have been people that, like, have been really jerky about my work. And again, I don't instigate this, but one of my friends, Lawrence Raw Dog, he actually has Real Deal. He does Real Deal comics through Fantagraphics, and he has his own rabid fan base. And he just jokingly said to me, your fans, they are Legion. So I said, fine, we'll go with the whole demonic thing.
They truly are. You do have a legion of fans, and you're building it very organically, as a matter of fact. It's not like and that's really the kind of growth you want to see. I saw a post today from a creator that I found to be very unimpressive. This is a guy who's kind of like climbing the ladder in comics. And one of the things he said today was that stop asking me to join your page, because, like, if I want to join it, I'll join it. And the thing is that I find that to be a little bit it's talking down to creators. It's like, if you don't reach out to people and let them know that you exist and constantly put yourself out there, you're never going to get anywhere. Mm-hmm. No one knows that more than that creator, but who's constantly putting himself out there and doing it, unapologetically, right? The one thing I have to say that I respect the most about you is that you don't apologize for anything. Whether you put yourself out there and people like it or not, that's their problem. But you're constantly not afraid to muddy the waters, not even test the waters. You'll put a boot on and step right into the water and, grab him by the nose and kick him in the tuchus,
Yeah, I guess I do. I mean, I gotta say, but some people reach out too much. Well, I mean, there is spamming. Some people, like, I've had people say, oh, buy my book. And I get that, and I understand that. But I think it's kind of a balance. Like, for me, I don't think it's so much per se. They often confuse, oh, you reach out too much. It's like, well, it's also how you reach out. Like, whenever I have a Kickstarter and I'm talking to somebody I haven't before, instead of sending like this whole long thing, I'm like, hey, how's it going? I said, how are you doing? Fine. And we have a little short conversation. I said, oh, yeah, speaking of which, I'm doing a Kickstarter. You want to take a look? And they look at it, and most of the time they're cool with it. It's just sort of that way of cold calling. I just think that sometimes when people cold call, they don't do it really well, which is unfortunate.
Cold calling not really well is one thing. Yeah. It's another thing to call people out and just say, like, what you're basically saying when you're broadcasting that is, don't reach out to me. Don't expect me to support you unless you tickle my fancy just the right way. Now, Kevin Smith had a really, really great saying in his book, which is, it costs nothing to support an artist. Mm-hmm. Absolutely nothing to support an artist. Mm-hmm. Because if that artist reaches a level of success, they're going to remember that you supported them at a time when they needed it. Mm-hmm. Let's just look at Stan Lee. When he wrote the foreword to my book, it cost him nothing. Mm-hmm. Other than a couple minutes of his time to write something up and sign off on it and shoot it in the mail. And how many and did that make him richer or more successful? No, it did nothing for him, but it did everything for me. And, everybody seems to forget the fact that we all start out with nothing in this business. Even the people who are indoctrinated because of some connection they have, like I'm the son of this person. You still got to make a name for yourself. And no one has done that better than the Kubert brothers. Their father was a legend in the field, and then they came out there and they broke into the business and developed their own unique styles. And they're great. Andy Kubert, he bought Easton Shinn for me at a convention last year. He didn't have to do that. But that's the thing, is supporting artists and everything like that is just so important. And the reason why I bring it up and bringing it back to you, we only got a couple minutes left, is you've always supported other artists, but you also do it in a very your demeanor to other artists is always so kind. And when it comes to you, you go out there and you're a fierce warrior. I hold you up on a very level. All right, Mr. Libby is picking up Personal Monsters. I think this has been a very successful virtual signing, and
I will sign it.
That's awesome. Mr. Libby, you have made a fine purchase today, and Mr. Libby is into all that kind of stuff, and this is what it's all about, guys. Chrissy, do you have anything you want to say? We got 2 minutes left on the clock here. I just want to make sure that you get everything out there.
Well, just go on my website, horrortourstudios.com. I also have the shop link that I gave them too. And if you have any questions or anything, feel free to hit me up on Facebook. If I don't answer, I usually answer, but if it is, then Facebook's being stupid. If you have any questions, by all means. And if you want to order more books, hey, I'll sign those too, and I'm always like that. Like, the advantage of ordering directly from me on that level is that I always sign the book, because I'm like, hey, here you go, because I always and I'll probably write all over your book somewhere. And write stupid, not mean things to you, but stupid, lewd things or dumb things. But, it's just a nice little surprise, because I really appreciate that. That's what I would say. And again, let me know and I'll get that to you.
Excellent. Excellent. And I'm not sure how much. I'm looking at the clock here, and it says we're at 57, Kyle. But my actual watch is telling me we still have an additional 3 minutes left. So just let me know how we're gonna. We got 3 minutes, so we actually have 3 minutes left. So we're at 3 minutes right now, and that's okay. So everybody knows to go to Christie's website to pick them up. And Silly Things Always Amuse Mike. He's all about that kind of stuff, and that's what it is. And another thing I want to say too is what you've done with Demon Bitch is so organic, because you can't just take a book like this and go to a publisher and expect them not to have their suggestions on what would be suitable or not suitable. But by doing it yourself, you've basically get to say whatever you want, and you get to do it however you see it. Have you had, this is, I guess, the last question, have you enjoyed doing this more yourself, or would you like to see yourself in a big publishing house where maybe you don't get to do it exactly the way you want it, or maybe some things might be censored?
Well, for me, I just like to have the money behind it. That'd be nice. But, I actually like doing it all myself. I do have that control, and it does feel good when I go and put it out there and it starts getting traction and people really like it. And you have to handle everything on a certain personal level. I just think it's funny when they go I remember I was at the Comic Bug a couple of years back, and one of the managers, not the owner, but one of the managers came up, and I brought them chocolate, hey, thank you for hosting me, right? And he said, wow, you're really nice. I'm really shocked. And I'm like, really? I mean, I wasn't even a jerk. I didn't even have put on this act. I wore my eyeball sweater, and I hung out, and I was just like, hey, what's up? And he's going, you're really nice. Because he said, well, I mean, you have a comic called Demon Bitch. I thought you'd be really hard edged. And so I'm like, no.
Well, folks, this is the end of the episode here. thank you so much, Christie, for coming in
Thanks so much.
and for bringing us so much joy this afternoon. And you really are just such a nice, kind person. And I look forward to seeing you. I will see you guys next week with a brand new episode. And until that time comes, you all have a great evening. And
See you. Just make sure it sparks joy.